Falcon Punch!
What's good, everybody? It's BBKDRAGOON back with my great friend Sassi, an Australian Destiny player who is exceptional at Trials. He brought a great load of tips about Trials last fall to the channel, and I wanted to get his opinions on Trials of Osiris after patch 2502. What do you think of Trials post-patch, specifically the updates to the special weapon economy? Was it a benefit or a detracting factor?
Alright, the first thing coming out of the patch is that you've noticed, and I think everyone has noticed, that the whole meta is kind of slowed down a bit, and this is really, really noticeable in 3v3 and Trials. With the changes to the round time, specifically in Trials, you find a lot of rounds go to the cap point, as rounds tend to be pretty standoffish for like the first 30 seconds unless teams are trying to be ultra aggressive. And since the first round still counts as spawning with special weapon ammo, even though it can play out similarly to a pre-patch Trials game, it doesn't really offer any momentum or in terms of game pressure, because since special ammo isn't really an issue, it doesn't really give you that, step forward, and it just allows the team to get a head start in terms of points.
So speaking of the weapon selections, what are the popular weapon choices right now, kind of play styles to go alongside of those weapon selections post-update Trials?
Obviously, a lot of people are trying to play super aggressive and try to stick to what was popular in the old meta. So you are finding a lot of sidearms, basically because they offer relatively fast time to kills and there's a permanent amount of ammo with them. They are often paired up with a decent mid to long range primary, so you'll find like an Aeslina with rangefinder. PDX is pretty popular, like that archetype. Shotguns are ridiculously good right now if you know how to use them. The inner accuracy has gone a little bit down, but because of the special ammo economy, having a shotgun when your opponent doesn't kind of brings back some PTSD when you have nothing to use against them when they're rushing at you. And then snipers offer like really good versatility all around. They offer like, nice long range picks, and if a good player is good, you can get some really effective medium to close-ish range aggression with that. So what happens in a Trials game, depending on what you want to play, the ultra aggressive playstyle wants to play and finish the round before special ammo spawns. And the other group, the more passive and reactive, wants to kind of hold out for a bit until special ammo spawns, and then they control the game. Because one thing you will notice is that someone running a dedicated special weapon, as soon as they pick up special ammo and you're just running a sidearm, they are so much more influential on the map compared to you, because they have that one-hit gun and you don't.
Totally. So that leads us to our next question here. What will you do to improve Trials for the game mode or the settings, especially when we talk about special economy? Because we've seen the changes that are coming to, let's say, the flinch of No Land Beyond, and we also know that the sidearm ammo carryover is going to be fixed. What else would you change, or is that good enough?
Honestly, I can't think of any other changes apart from NLB flinch and the sidearm ammo carryover that I think will improve the game without drastically changing almost everything about it. Whether that's a good thing or not remains to be seen. But I do believe there's been an increase in skill gap with the primary v primary fight, as you rarely trade with someone, and if you're mechanically better than the other player, you will just simply win way more fights with them.
So for the final question then, the hard one, is it better than before? Is it worse than before? And what would be kind of your word of advice to a player who's listening, who's maybe had some frustrations with Trials the last couple weeks?
I do believe the special changes add a welcome mix-up, and I'm part of that crew that actually enjoys using primary v primaries and not crutching on your special weapon. And you can't do that anymore to the same extent. So I feel like the good players have already quickly adapted to something that will be just as effective, and it's generally those two playstyles-ish, the ultra aggressive sidearms and the more reactive, dedicated.
One of the really important things you talked about in your Trials tip video last fall that just blew up was how you adapt, and you need to be able to adapt to your opponent's playstyles and react. You can almost apply that exact same logic to a new patch, correct? Like the good players or the strong players who are still lighthousing adapted to the changes and are now finding strategies within it. Is that correct?
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of things you can do right now, especially because the meta hasn't really settled, that is still really effective. A really good way to try give you like a visualization of this is if you consider each one of your weapons that you choose to use gives you like a sphere of influence around the map. So in that sphere, that's where you're most influential, and that's where you can get like the most kills, or where you're most comfortable in getting kills. One of the biggest drawbacks is running a sidearm is that you won't have that longer range influence, and particularly on a map like Bannerfall, which is rather large, you can make a lot of movement oriented plays where you switch spawns, or you kind of literally just everyone just rotates around the map clockwise, you know, like they're going down bottom tree and you're going up top B tree, and you don't even run into each other. Next thing you know, you're in their spawn and they're in your spawn and nothing's really happened. You can use something like this to really draw out the game a little bit and give you that opportunity to grab special ammo. And once you have that, you really have the power back in your hands, because you have that dedicated special weapon, and you become a lot more stronger than a guy who's using a sidearm because of it.
Well, right on. Thanks, Sassi, for hopping on board. I really appreciate you sharing your thoughts here. If somebody wants to follow you or find your content, where can they go for that?
You can find my Twitter at IMSASSSI. So that's at I'm Sassi with 3 S's. And my YouTube channel will be in the description below. And if you have any more questions you'd like more thought out or longish answer, just go to the Destiny the Show Discord, which is discord.me/Destiny the Show. And I'll try and respond to you with as much as my knowledge will assist me with, and as soon as I can.
Right on, dude. Thanks for joining me. Have a good day.
You too, man.